Welkom, Fast Moving Targets zendt in samenwerking met Emerce de hele dag uit vanaf eDay in Amsterdam. De hele dag interviews met mensen die verstand hebben van alle facetten van het zogenoemde digital field. We hebben nu een gast aan de tafel. Hi, who are you and what do you do?
Good morning, my name is Steve Ward. I'm the responsible partner for Deloitte Digital here in Amsterdam.
Yeah. Digital can be a lot of things, so what is it when I ask it you?
We have a team focused on bringing creative technology and strategy to our clients to help them in their digital transformation, where digital is really the disruptor for that transformation.
Yeah.
And we bring some help and advice on how to go through that process.
Yeah, well, maybe we come to talk about that, but it's, a lot of it is culture as well, I assume. So before we go to culture, let's go to what's happening right now around us. According to you, what is the most important or an important trend in your field of expertise?
I think there are a number of trends that many organizations, whether that's in B2C or B2B, that are grappling with at the moment. I think everything is driven from a client perspective and really understanding how to serve the client over physical and digital environments. So we're seeing a lot of questions around how to address the omni-channel experience from a customer perspective. In particular, there are a lot of exponential technologies now that are coming into play, whether it's IoT, virtual reality. And at the moment it's early days, but a lot of organizations are starting to understand how that will disrupt their business model, and that's where we're starting to help guide them in that process.
Yeah. Okay, let's start with the Internet of Things, IoT. When you talk to your clients, what do you tell them? Why is it an important thing?
I think IoT, like many technology developments, is something that will take time to really emerge and really understand where the real value is. We had earlier this week with eWeek a breakfast session on the topic, and a lot of our clients and participants were also asking where's the value, always coming back to the value that this can bring. So we have a view that you need to look at this from a value loop perspective. So looking at obviously the proliferation of sensors at this moment in time. So like in our building, we have 37,000 sensors. There's a lot of sensor technology being rolled out here in Amsterdam. But really understanding how to capture information from the physical environment, so the dark thing, and really bring that back, aggregate it, and to a physical action. So what we call the information loop, really understanding where the information and the value is in that loop. Yeah. So really, that's an area that we're trying to help.
Yeah. So you said 37,000 sensors you have in your building?
Indeed.
Okay, what's the point?
What's the point? It's a good question. So it is the most connected building here worldwide, and it's here in Amsterdam. It's called the Edge. Our CIO put his head out and said, I want to innovate, and not quite knowing everything what they were going to do with the sensors. But I think if you look at now the employee engagement that a building that brings, we have everything from smart parking through to navigating to your colleague. We have 2,500 employees, we have 1,000 desks, so it actually provides recommendations on where you should be sitting. You can adjust the lighting, which we've developed together with Philips, and that sensor technology enables a better office experience. Obviously, taking that into other industries like retail or into the hospital industry, you can start to think about different use cases that we could play into from a B2B perspective or a B2C perspective. So it's really about engagement, whether that's employee or customer, and having the platform to do that.
Yeah. So for example, thanks to sensors, you know that there's a parking space or there's a working space that's free. And how does it go? Do you have your app and you leave your house, and can you then make a reservation as well?
Yeah, you can make reservations through the app for booking rooms, etc. But in that particular instance, in terms of parking, we have a challenge with our employees that we don't have a lot of parking spaces here in Amsterdam. So one of the things we've done and helped develop is an app that when you're traveling to the office, you can look at the availability for parking, and also based on predictive analysis and machine learning, understand in November on a Tuesday what is the likelihood when I get to the office based on the parking information, based on the traffic information, but there'll be a parking space available for you. And if not, then we have arrangements with the guy to park at a distant location. But it helps in employee engagement.
Yeah. So the good thing is now, you're not only talking about this to your customers, of course, with the knowledge you have, but you're experiencing it yourself as well.
Yeah, and that's a privilege we have. I think as Deloitte Digital, we're able to experiment with our own building. It's a living lab, our office, but we're doing that with a clear objective to try and stay ahead of the market and also provide guidance to our clients to make sure that they're thinking through the right things. When it comes to smart city, Amsterdam is obviously a key component in that in terms of driving a smart city concept. And that can be taken through to waste management, through to smart tourism. There are lots of different use cases that I think we really haven't seen the start of yet.
No. Because sometimes me and my colleague Roland, who's not here but will be here later on today doing interviews, and we've talked to a lot of people working in the Internet of Things. We are enthusiastic, but at the same time we sometimes wonder, is this a solution for a problem that isn't there or yet?
With many technology developments, you probably always ask the same question. I think you have to look at some of the practical examples and the value that that brings to you as an individual, as a customer. I mean, if you look at, we've always had, for example, if you look at the smart car developments at the moment, we've always had a oil filter light telling us, based on a sensor, that the engine is low on oil. Yeah. So that's not new, sensor technology and being able to be provided that information. But what you do is then call the garage or fill up with oil. Yeah. There's always a human interaction in place. I think where closing the information loop is possible is that cars are being shipped now with not the fact that you are getting a sensor on your screen, but remotely detecting that you're low on oil and providing guidance and pre-booking you into a car for a service. So that they're taking information on your behalf and actually closing the loop when it comes to service. So I think in the area of service and in the area of efficiency in the value chain, there's a lot of opportunity, and I think a tremendous amount in the B2B space, but also in terms of engagement from a customer point of view.
Hey, you say it's early stages yet. Yep. All of us have to find out what are the good cases, how it's going to work, but if you talk to a customer and if you had to give them one, say, good example, customers most of the time want a business-wise a good solution. What do you, what is a good example of good usage of the Internet of Things?
I think that there are many examples. I think in the B2C space, I think what Disney are doing at the moment in terms of extending the experience around their Magic Band. It's a very simple form of IoT, and I think most of the best solutions are the simple solutions. So that, they're everything from pre-visit to their parks, during the hotel experience, during the park experience, through the Magic Band, are enhancing that end-to-end experience. And I think that's the start. I think where the real value is in the data. So understanding the different touch points and what you do with the data, and then from an act perspective, is really where the next level will be created. So it's not about just providing a short experience as part of the journey, but connecting that data across the journey. And I think Disney are taking steps in that area, and others are experimenting in other things, whether that's in waste management in cities. So we've recently helped the local government in Seville, in Spain, around with a waste management company with one of the telcos to really optimize efficiency for waste collection. So sensor technology in the bins, and when the bin is full, you then come and service the bin, and you have efficiency gains. Yeah. So there's efficiency and experience as two big key drivers. Yeah,
and if I were a company and I was interested in this subject and I came to you, where would we start then? What would we do? How would the procedure be?
I think many organizations are struggling with that at this moment in time. I think normally the key things we're bringing to clients now at this moment is you need to, at this phase, have a clear view of a strategy to address that. That's not a 3, 4, 5 year strategy, but also a direction that this is something that will add value to your experience. If you have that, really start prototyping and concepting around your customer value proposition. It really starts with what is your customer value proposition, have a clear understanding of what that is, and then prototype, be prepared to fail, stand up, run again, but do that in a way that's agile and changes the behavior also and the DNA of your organization. Most of this is technology possible, but I think a lot of our transformational clients are looking at it differently than just putting in a certain technology. They're looking at what the DNA is that they need to create as an organization in their capabilities and their skills and the type of people, quite frankly, that they want to employ.
Yeah. Hey, what I earlier on said, a lot of it will be, say, culture as well, changing cultures of companies, different ways of working, etc. You have, say, a lot of people talking about the exponential technology, etc. And a lot of talk about that is if you don't change now, you're going to be eaten, so to say. Is it that is it that drastic?
I think as consultants, sometimes you can actually create something that is not necessarily as important to an organization. I think we have to, stick with reality. Our view is that digital is an era. So the combination of social, mobile, cloud, is combining to transform different business models. Working with Singularity University quite a lot also here in the Netherlands, really the wave next is exponential technologies. So everything from sensor technologies, which is driving IoT, virtual reality, quantum computing, augmented intelligence, that is then the next phase of evolution. And what we're saying is that you need to experiment with those technologies to stay ahead of the curve. But it's not that your organization, if they don't do that, it's going to fall over. But if you want to be a leader in your sector, especially in some of the sectors that are being impacted the highest, then you really need to start thinking about it. And we look at different sectors in different ways. So we have a view of short fuse, big bang. So it's going to happen very quickly, and it's going to have a big disruption to your sector and your organization against organizations that may be more heavy technologies and industries that have got a longer fuse and a smaller bang that will take time to evolve. So it really depends on where you sit as an organization, how these technologies will impact you.
And how are those technologies going to impact your organization?
I think as Deloitte, we've looked to innovate and disrupt ourselves. Our audit business is a business that the growth is out to a certain extent, and we've set up 3 years ago our own innovation organization and disrupting ourselves in the way that we operate. And you see by bringing the power of different disciplines to the table, which we can do as Deloitte, that you're able to think through new aspects. For example, assurance of the cloud. Online services around security, bringing digital is a big play for us at this moment in time alongside security and data analytics. So we're disrupting ourselves and also our services, and quite frankly, as long as we keep the eye on the questions from our clients, that's the most important thing, that we're staying ahead for them and guiding them through their transformation.
Yeah, and you can't be too far ahead of them. No. So that's sort of tension as well, I
That's
assume.
the tension, but I think you have a duty of care to look ahead. But also filter what is important for your client and provide a trusted guidance and an independent guidance without a particular technology focus towards your clients and help them in that journey. And quite frankly, we're not the organization that is implementing B2C apps in the marketplace. There are plenty of others here that can do that for your organization. But if you're really focusing on transforming your organization, where different technologies and different organizational changes are in play, then we have a great team here in Amsterdam and also globally in our studios, and that's something we pride ourselves on providing the right guidance to our clients with.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
De hele dag zenden we hier vandaag vanaf eDay dus interviews uit. Dus kijk je nu live, blijf kijken. Kijk je on demand, dan weet je dat je de complete verzameling nog even op je gemak na kunt zien. Dag.